Please welcome Ainur. She is a chemical engineer and began a career in the lab. She transitioned to development during the COVID-19 pandemic. And with curiosity, passion for learning and practice, she became a self-taught front-end developer and secured a first internship. She's here today to talk about this trajectory and share her tips on how to make use of transferable skills, navigate through the challenges, and successfully adapt to a new field. Please welcome Anur. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Um, Let me start sharing. And today we are going to, so my name is Ainur. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this workshop. Today I'm going to share my story on how I switched careers from chemistry to front-end development. So a little about me. I'm originally from Kazakhstan. It's a country in the Central Asia. I moved to US in 2018. I have a master's degree in chemistry. Right now, I work as a front-end developer intern at InstaHub, and when I'm out of my laptop, I love baking, going to the gym, and doing cross teaching. Let me share a little about why I decided to switch careers. So when I first came to US, um, I was on the visa that didn't allow me to work. It was the first thing. Second, right after I moved to the US, the COVID hit, and I found out that all of my friends in chemistry was locked out from the laboratory, and some of them were like on the unpaid um, leave because of that. And in the meantime, all my friends in tech industry continue working, and I saw opportunity in maybe I need to switch my career, and that's how I started to um, learn programming. Um, so how I did get started. First, I think, and most important thing is try to be consistent. Um, if you are planning on, for example, I didn't have an opportunity to attend boot camp or even start degree, so I started to learn by myself, and I did it by being consistent. I found the popular tutorial and check if the pace and delivery of the tutor um, is aligned with me. And after that, I start to follow this tutorial. Um, it's good for the basic of the language that you're trying to use or to learn. And in the meantime, start practicing lead code problem with your chosen language. It seems like it's scary, but believe me, uh, when you achieve some kind of understanding of the language, you need to start practicing by applying this knowledge to the problems. After you finish a tutorial project, there's usually one big project at the end of the tutorial. Start working on your personal project from scratch. And bonus that I found from other people who switched to software development is that set up a goal why you are learning to code. When I started, I didn't have any goal. I just picked the most popular language that was Python and started learning it. It was good to get the fundamentals of the programming, but I didn't see how I can apply this knowledge to the real problem. That when I decided to switch to web development, which seems more straightforward way on how I can apply my skills and get the result. Um, so if you like working with big data, for example, you can choose Python for machine learning. Or if you like how web development works, you can start as a front-end developer. So there is a lot of ways actually, and we sometimes not know about them. So as my advice for someone who already made the switch is try to set up the goal at the beginning of your journey. So what resources I used for my learning The first I started with Udemy courses. They're pretty cheap and you can find from different authors. They are great for getting the basics of the language that you're trying to learn. I used Zero to Mastery. Um, it's web development in 2021. And even though I was learning by this tutorial, I found out that React changed a lot from this year. So some of the examples that were in the tutorial wasn't working for me anymore because React changed. So it was like a first problem that I have to solve. Um, and I solved it by checking the documentation of React. And that's how you are learning to problem solving and to find the information about the problem that you have. The next useful resource is YouTube. There you can find interesting projects and live coding solutions to your problems. So sometimes it can be a small problem and you can find the quick fix. Sometimes you can find an inspiration for your project. I found one of such inspiration for my personal project that I did, and I will show you this project later. And the last one that I recommend to everyone is to it's a paid course, so it's not um, cheap, but this resources called Frontend Expert, and there you can find a crash course on JavaScript, HTML, CSS, but the author of this course goes really in deep on the JavaScript compared to basic tutorials from Udemy. Also, there you can find different questions and problems that sometimes you can find in the interview. For example, how to develop search in React, how to develop a to-do list. And there you can practice it and also see the video solution of the explanation how to solve it and also different approaches. I think this course really can get you ready for the interview and even for the not only junior position but mid developer. Um, if you want to know more, I can always share the links in our group. So feel free to reach out and ask. Um, Next one, let's speak about the projects that I did for my during my learning. So let's check out my first project. So after I finished tutorial with Udemy, I decided to try to the personal project from scratch. And the first one was the Monty Hall problem. I learned about it like from Reddit, I think, or YouTube, and I was interested in the concept of this problem. So it's a problem that is counterintuitive statistic puzzle. You have three doors behind which are two cats and one bag of gold. You pick a door. You are hoping for the gold, of course. Monty Hall, the game show host, examined the other doors and opened one with a cat. Here is the game. Do you stick with the door you choose or switch to the unopened door? So how it works? For example, let's pick the first door. Uh, we picked the first door and host opened us the door that has the cat in it. So now we have to choose, do we want to switch doors or stick with our chosen door? For example, let's switch. Yay, we won. But why? So if we play again and, for example, choose the second one and we decided not to switch, you see, we lost. So it's a statistical problem which says that you have to change the door to win. And I also have this statistics where you can see that if you decide not to switch the door, you will probably lose more times than if you decide to switch. So it was my first project. I made it completely from scratch. It was fun to work with. Like I remember I spent a lot of time trying to find how to switch doors or how to open doors and see the picture behind door because for me as a beginner, it wasn't super intuitive on how I can do it. So this was my first project. I didn't publish it actually because I was a little um, shy of how it came out. Um, After that, I found there's my portfolio right now. Is that's do. Um, After that, I started to work on different personal projects. I developed a sorting algorithm visualizer. I found the inspiration on YouTube. I also tried to create a snake game from vanilla JS. Um, and you can the best way to learn is to make your own project, to find the problems and try to find the solution. Because when you follow the tutorial, the solutions already solved for you. So all the problems solved, and you just see the end result. But when you're working on your own project, you can see how things working, what's going wrong. You encounter different bugs, and that's how you learn and understand how the whole things works. And let's go to my latest project that I developed. It was for the hackathon. So I worked with a group of developers. It was my first group project as a self-taught. And here we developed the application for remote workers to um, create and attend live events. So here you can explore different events. You can check them up. You can see what events are currently going for this group. You can join this event um, and so on. I personally worked on the user profile. This was my main field of working, and we won. It was my first money from the front-end development. Yeah. So if you are learning by yourself, one of the challenges that you will encounter is to how to work on the shared code base. Because when you work by yourself, you know how everything is working, or you're trying to write it. And different developers have their own style of, of work. And so you will learn from them, because when I first joined this hackathon, I was only a beginner, but other developers are was more experienced, and I learned a lot from them. So how to organize the component. All of this made with React. This one also was made with React. My portfolio, for example, made with just vanilla JavaScript. And um for frameworks, you definitely should start learning framework after you are comfortable with basic JavaScript, because a lot of this process just like very difficult JavaScript code under the hood. But working with React is much more approachable by the beginner, and it has nice interface and component based architecture, so you can learn and see how things are connected. So next, after I finished the hackathon, so I another thing that I want to emphasize is to try to set some kind of deadline for yourself. For example, I was learning programming while I was on restricted visa. Um, but once I obtained my work authorization, I started to apply. I know that it will happen in some time, so I set myself, that's it. You just have to use and find the job and uh try to not be afraid that you are not ready. Because if you think really hard, you may not be ready like forever. That's the beauty and the downside of the software development is there is always something to learn, and you think that you know nothing. But if you made it to this stage when you work on your personal project, you already know enough to understand everything else. So don't be afraid if other people can understand and you already made such a big progress, you will understand the rest. No worries. It may just take some time and it's okay. Uh, Everybody's learning from experience, from exposure. So it's okay. And my deadline was to, when obtain my work authorization, I started to be really proactive. I found this. I also first joined Women Who Code to have some kind of support, but then they closed before I could attend any live event. Uh, which was really funny and sad at the same time. So then I found our community, Frontend Queens, and I see a lot of support here. That's how I found this hackathon project. One of the members approached me, um, do you want to participate? And I said, of course, yeah. Um, so after that, after this hackathon project, I was sure that I capable of work in the like more um, ex like in uh, professional environment. And then I found my current job. It's in internship, and let's speak a bit about what I'm doing right now. So basically, I'm working on the developing the dashboard from for sensor system. I cannot show you the actual dashboard because it's in the development and but overall I developed the dashboard where users can see and manage their sensors. Uh, the main goal of the company is to um, help companies save money on unnecessary energy waste, which also can help with the climate change. So, for example, when you see buildings that you sure no one is working there and they have all lights on, it's a waste of energy, but also it's a waste of produced energy, which means um, more load on the energy system, and as a result, it worsens the climate. So the goal of this company is to help big companies save on energy and also make them more sustainable. Before I get this internship, I was approached by the hiring manager and asked to develop an full AWS project. So I knew nothing about the AWS at the time, and they give me like 5 days to finish it. So they also said that I have to use AWS Lambda. It's a serverless functions that used for the backend operations. Um, and it should be in Python. Uh, Also, I have to use the relational database that Amazon also provides and their hosting provider called Amplify. So it was a big project and I was really stressed, but I said I will do it. So I started learning. Some things worked from the first try, some things didn't work after I tried to do it one way, another way. But in the end, I was able to um, compose this project and present it. And the hiring manager was really impressed uh, by this, and that's how I get into the internship. All this that I learned during these 5 days helped me on my current job because we are basically working with AWS Lambda, Amplify, Gateway, and relational database. So it wasn't like just to show my knowledge, but it also helped me to onboard faster for my current job. And yeah, I learned a lot, even though I have a title as internship, but we're work really close and all my changes will be seen by clients. So I'm basically working as a full-time employee. Yeah, but I learned a lot and I become more confident in my own skills, and also I think improved and become more aware on how things work on the back end, because during the front end you just learn how to manipulate the DOM, how to design these beautiful components, but um, how to fetch information for your um, front end, how things work on the back end, how to connect with the database. If you have this whole understanding, it will be much easier for you to discuss it on the group meeting and to propose some changes, because sometimes you know better as a front end developer on how things should look like than the backend engineer, only no, who sometimes doesn't care about the how result looks like because it's a result. But for you, it may not be manageable to implement, and so you can discuss and decide how you can transform the response data to more suit your needs. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm currently at. Um, I started to look for the new opportunity because my current company doesn't have a full-time position for now. Um, so yeah, thank you and good luck on your journey. Um, drop the questions in the chat and we can discuss more.
Thank you so much. That was really inspiring. Even for me, that's amazing. Um, really glad to have you here. So I'm going to dive into the questions. I will mention I will basically say them and you can answer them. So the first question is, how did you land your first job in front-end development? Which I think you mentioned um in your speech. So I don't, do we have to, does that answer the question? Okay, wonderful. Right. So another question, can you share a link for front-end expert? I can't find it online.
Yeah, I can share it. I will drop in the chat in a minute.
All right, thank you so much. Another question from Luan says, can you recommend the best YouTube videos to watch? Can you recommend YouTube videos as front-end developers that would help us improve? The best, like in your books that you know you've watched and you've seen are the best.
Yeah, I think that's there are a lot of videos. I cannot recommend someone directly because I'm like was sometimes just, oh, that's an interesting project. I think it's better if you can find the video related to what you want to build. For example, is it a recipe book or to-do list, and just try to see what's in there.
All right, thank you for that. Um, Question from Marie as well. Would you recommend participating in a hackathon? If so, what are the biggest benefits?
Yeah, the hackathon has its own atmosphere. It's a development of the project in the really short time, and sometimes you are doing it with the complete strangers. So if you are into this space, because it can be really fast, um, it's a good experience. And also this opportunity to work with completely different people, to try to find the um, to communicate with them, to adapt to their pace, um, to if you are more experienced, is to help them become better. Uh, so yeah, if you can find it, certainly do.
Well, amazing, thank you. Another question we have, were there any specific moments when you doubted your decision to switch careers, and how did you push through those doubts?
Um, Yeah, so for me it was easier because I think I always was a tech savory girl. I developed my first project when I was in high school. It was on Delphi, and I developed the application for laboratory work, biology lab work. So my teacher even used it for the different students. It was the picture of the lab work and a little questionnaire. So you can choose the answers, and at the end you will see result how right you were. So yeah, I always was some somehow related to tech, so it was easier for me, and also I have a lot of support from my friends. Um, for someone, for example, we have one of our member, Calypso. She switched from the theater, um, and yeah, you can learn from her about her experience. I think she shared some of them in previous talks. Just try it, see if it clicks with you. Um, Sometimes you need more time to adapt, but I think the best advice I can give is to see the clear goal of what you are doing.
All right, thank you. That was wonderful. From Luann, as a front-end developer, do you think it's mandatory to know UI UX design?
Yeah, so when you especially when you work on your personal project, you have to decide for yourself how you want to organize the page. And knowledge of UX UI design can really help you be more efficient and create a beautiful design. But if you're going to work as a front-end developer with a hard code, usually the design will be made by someone else. So you will have a designer who creates the Figma templates, and you just have to implement them. That's usually how it works in the big companies. But in the more small one, or if you want to go freelance, you may need some knowledge of the UX UI design.
All right, thank you so much. I hope that answers that question. Right. Right. This question is, I guess, says if you could go back and give yourself advice at the start of your career switch, what would it be?
Yeah, Maria is bombarding us with the questions. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's to have a clear goal because I started for with Python just to start, just to try to understand how programming works and try to solve uh, different problems. But I didn't, after I finished Python, I didn't see how I can implement it in the real work. I know that right now, I know that I could, but at that time, I like what I'm going to show a command line when you can put the command and see the result. It's not so exciting. That's why I decided to switch to web development, where you can just hit save and see your changes on the UI. So after that, I saw a lot of opportunities for me because everybody needs a website, and I can be of use of service for different areas like healthcare, finances, different local shops, um, stores. So yeah, that's why I decided to stick with the front-end development and continue learning and improving.
Thank you for that. Right. Did any skills from your chemistry background surprisingly help you in front-end development?
Yeah, thanks for the questions. It's really good. I found that my so when you working in chemistry, you usually have a science plus some engineering when you working on some problems. So I think my ability to find the resources to learn and to try understand how things work really helped me in the front in learning software development because I was self-learn. So I had to create my own study path and to set the right question and to try solve these problems. I think uh, also some work in a team, soft skill, because when you do research in chemistry, you have to communicate with your superior. You also sometimes need to communicate with juniors, who will make some tests for you, and to try to navigate this communication also helped me in my current job, and I have to reach to designers, product managers, and backend engineers about my concerns or suggestions.
Right. Thank you so much for answering that. Um, do you have any advice in practicing lead code?
Yeah, so when you just starting, you can start with the easy problems. Sometimes they just check you if you know the basic functionality, for example, like string join or sorting the array or accessing different like different elements of the array. And uh, if you cannot solve it from the first try, don't be discouraged. You can always check the solution, try to understand how it was solved, and then try to create it from the memory. Don't just copy paste the solution, but try to understand it and recreate from your own understanding. And that's how you will build confidence, and then you can move into the medium. uh, Elite code allows you to solve problem in your own language, so JavaScript, Python, or Go, whichever you are more comfortable in.
Thank you again for that. Right. Also, all right, we have, okay. Now that you're in the industry, what excites you the most about front-end development and what are your next career goals?
So the most exciting thing when I joined my company was that now I don't have to think about the whole project. I have people who can support me, for example, on the back end. And at the same time, um, I can decide how I want to organize the component, how I want to data to be passed from one component to another, and how to obtain this data from the backend with the API request. And this whole communication and connecting things and how the data flow, I think all of that really exciting. And also communicating with people and see different perspective on the same problem also helps you to grow and sometimes to unblock, because sometimes when you think about problem you can see the like one solution and you think that it's the only solution. Sometimes it can be great solution, but sometimes it can be a bad one. Just what you could uh, find, that's the thing in your mind that's stuck. And other people perspective can help you like navigate from this angle and to show that there is another way. And that's how you can grow. That's how your solutions become more effective. And yeah, I think the flow of data, communicating with people, and see how your UI influence the clients, that's the most exciting. And the next goal is to, because I cannot stay in my current company, I think to find company which has a, a great product and help them improve it. Um, and yeah, see the excitements of clients.
Right, that's great. Thank you so much. I think this will be the last question. From Luan again, which she's asking, how can you start to do freelancing job as a front-end developer?
Yeah, this question I don't have an expertise in because I didn't try to be a freelance developer. I was thinking about it. Maybe if I will not find a full-time job in the like next several months, I may consider it. But think one of our members, um, her name is Mia. She's an expert in freelancing, and I think she has her own company. So you can always approach her and ask about her experience. Uh, but the main thing that she shared in her workshop was that it's better if you specialize in some things. For example, creating form or helping. Um, Recently, I learned that sometimes developers have problem with organizing the cookies. Sometimes when you go to the website, you see that accept or decline cookie, and some developers reach to the third party to implement it in their own website. So you can try to learn something like this and be an expert. So yeah,
Thank you very much. Okay, Luan is asking, can you send me the name here?
yeah,
I've linked it.
I will check and
I can send
oh
as well. I'm looking
oh
for it.
okay. Thank you, Anna.
All right, that's great. That rounds up the question, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in the question. We're wrapping up, and thank you, and Anur. Still struggle with name pronunciation, but I hope I try my best to pronounce it right. Thank you so much for talking to us and having this session. It was amazing. I was inspired as well, and honestly looking forward and wishing you the best in your career goals. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for joining.